Hey guys, Murphy's Opinions here, and today I'm coming at you with my review of A View to a Kill, Roger Moore's final film as James Bond, made in 1985, directed by John Glenn. What's the plot of this film? Bond returns from the USSR with a computer chip that is capable of withstanding a nuclear electromagnetic pulse that would otherwise destroy a normal chip. The chip is created by Zorin Industries, and Bond heads off to investigate Zorin. He seems like an innocent man, but in fact, he's really planning to set off an earthquake in San Andreas and wipe out all of Silicon Valley. We also come across his companion Mayday, and he has to drag Stacey Sutton along in this adventure. So let's get on to the cast of this film and what I think about them. As I said earlier, Roger Moore returned for one more film as Bond, and I've got to be honest, I think this was one too many. I think in Octopussy he got away with it, because they kind of went for a more mature love interest in that sort of film, and just in general I think the film and Moore didn't look that old in comparison to how he does in this film. He's clearly had some sort of kind of surgery done to his face to make him look younger, but he just looks older if anything. And he, in some of the clothes he's wearing as well, like leather jacket and stuff, it just looks really out of place really, and I think he was just too old in my opinion. And this kind of goes on to the Bond girl, Stacey Sutton, played by Tanya Roberts. She, in my opinion, is the worst Bond girl of the entire series. She's just so annoying. She doesn't do anything to help Bond or anything or further the plot. She's just kind of there as like eye candy. The only thing that she's really got going for her is that she's hot. I think if she was hot, I don't think Bond would really give a shit about her, if I'm being honest. However, one bright spark here is Max Zorin, played by Christopher Walken. I think he is one of the best in the series. I think he plays that kind of psychopath so well. Christopher Walken's an actor who I think, he may not have been in the best films, but whenever he's in them, he does a very good job. So, I'm a big fan of Max Zorin in this film. A lot of people give Mayday a lot of credit as well, played by singer Grace Jones. I personally don't think Mayday's that interesting of a character. I don't think she's really that explored that well. I mean, it's not really a gripe from Grace Jones. I just don't think they did much with the character, personally. And I just think if you go through a lot of the cast, it's very just forgettable. I mean, you've got characters like Jenny Flex, played by Alison Doody, and Paula Avanova, played by Fiona Fullerton. And these characters, I just don't really remember that much about them. They're not interesting. There's nothing about them really that kind of stands out. And I think with The View to a Kill, a lot of the cast is just very poor in my opinion. You've got M here, played by Robert Brown. He's fine in this, and Q as well. I enjoy in this film, but this is the final film with Lois Maxwell playing Moneypenny, and I've said this before many times in these reviews. In the Roger Moore period, I think Lois Maxwell just never was quite as good as she once was in the Connery and Lazenby films. Which is a real shame, because she's a talented actress and she was good friends with Moore in real life, but never really connected on the screen, which is surprising actually. But I just don't really. I think it was kind of the right decision to take her out, in my personal opinion. But it's just a shame that she kind of goes out with a bit of a whimper, really. But yeah, I just think overall, when looking at this cast, it's just not very strong, and I think that's ultimately one of the worst parts of this film. Just the cast isn't very good, and the characters are very poorly developed, or just aren't very interesting, if I'm being honest. I'd say the strongest part of this film, in my opinion, along with Christopher Walken as Max Zorin, is actually the score. I think John Barry produces a beautiful score, actually, one of the best in the series, in my opinion. I think the next film he did was better than this, but this is still a fantastic score. The use of the Duran Duran theme of View to a Kill, which is actually, I think, one of the best Bond themes in the series, actually. That is used very well, and just so much of the music is just so beautifully composed, and it works in all the right scenes. I think that's definitely one of my favourite things about this film, is just the score is so fantastic. It's done by John Barry, and I've said this before, his last 3 films, so Octopussy, A View to Kill and The Living Daylights, were all, I think, arguably his best work. I think it's just truly fantastic, and you'd really have to listen to it for yourself just to get an idea of how great it is. Fantastic score, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to some of the key scenes, I mean, I do enjoy the fire truck kind of chase. You know, I think that's a very fun scene. But there's some very very odd scenes in this film. Like for example, Bond and Mayday sleeping together. It's very very awkward. Like I find it cringeworthy to watch every time I've watched it. It's just not something you'd want to watch, you know, with your parents. Definitely, it's very very awkward. And the opening title scene, in my opinion, just feels more like a parody. In all honesty, I think it just really I feel like I was watching an Austin Powers film. You know, Bond like skiing to the Beach Boys. I think it's just too much for me. I think overall, when it comes to A View to a Kill, I really don't enjoy this one. I think it's one of the worst in the series. It's not the worst. We'll get to that one when we get to it, but definitely not a strong addition to the film. I mean, or to the series, I should say. I mean, when it comes to the review so far, I haven't really slagged off many of the films because we haven't really got to many of the ones I dislike the most. Apart from Thunderball, I didn't like that one really, but I'd say A View to a Kill is probably the second worst film in the entire series. It's very bad. You know, I can see. I mean, a lot of people do like it because it's got that 80s cheese factor, but I think it's just too much, really. I think, you know, aside from the villain and the fantastic score, it's just a very, very poor film. You know, and I think the main problem is just kind of Bond, and it's just weird to see kind of 57 or however old Roger Moore was kind of getting with this really young girl. You know, Roger Moore was, you know, older than, you know, Tanya Roberts' mother, which I think kind of puts it into perspective really. This film just really isn't very good. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. Aside from maybe the villain and the score, as I said. But anyway, thanks for watching the review, guys. This one might be a bit short, really. I just don't really have much to kind of praise this film about, really. But anyway, comment below, give this video a like, subscribe to my main channel, follow my Arsenal FM on Twitter, and once again, thanks for watching, guys.